very much. Hello, thank you for letting us speak to you today. So myself and Mandy are going to talk to you about an augmented reality project we've been doing in the nursing department. Yeah, we're going to do a little bit. So what we've been doing, we've been using augmented reality, which is a technique where you can overlay text, videos, images on top of the real world, and we can use it within nursing to enhance the simulations that our students go through. In the third year of the nursing course, students do an acute care day where they learn with doctors, medical students, they do some workshops in the morning, and in the afternoon they do simulated experiences where they care for patients. Now traditionally, we would introduce the students by reading a lecture-based scenario, so we would give them the information. You're in a medical ward, this patient is Jack Brown, he's been in for 3 days with a chest infection, and give them the details they need to care for the patient. That was great, it worked really well, and the students were liking simulation, so why did we bother? Mandy's going to tell you a bit more to develop this further. Some students find simulation difficult. It's quite exposing, isn't it? And really to ensure that they engage in the experience, we wanted to drag them into that world a little bit faster. So really that's what kicked us off, but we found there's plenty of other benefits to using augmented reality as well. What do we do? First of all, we created our patient scenarios, so we already had those. We made little videos of patients, so we got patient actors to come into university, get into the beds we've got in our clinical skills rooms, and gave them a scenario, got them to act out. We just filmed that on an iPad using the normal video function. So it took us, what, 10-20 minutes to make short little films. Didn't really require any editing because we wanted it to feel very real world, and that's there within the iPad. We then used an app. So there's a couple of apps we've used. We used Erasmus, and we're now using Campus Interactive. And we can then put the video within an app and create little scenarios. So I know it's not very clear, but we've got 3 different case studies at the moment. And when students will use that, just go forward a bit, they'll walk up to a patient with the iPad, they'll hold the iPad over the mannequin's face, go back. The app will then scan the mannequin and then launch into a patient case scenario. And then we have the real world patient giving the student the information. Oh, I don't feel very well, I'm really short of breath. Oh, I've not been like this all night, it's just suddenly started. Benefits of this technique, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about. Which is what we're going to do.
Okay, so why on earth would we want to do this when we've got these plastic mannequins that cost a fortune, if we're being honest? Why on earth would we want to then use a video to overlay on that? Well, thinking about how quickly we engage students with the scenario, as Debbie said, some people really struggle to engage, and what we wanted to do was use the film of somebody displaying those symptoms to quickly get that person into role. We want them to act like they are the student nurse caring for that patient. And what we traditionally found was if Debbie was facilitating the scenario and I'd got a patient in bed here, they'd look at the patient and then go, what's the blood pressure? So they would turn away and speak very directly to Debbie as a facilitator, as opposed to talking to the patient and doing all those nice things we like.
And they are in teams at this point, so we want them to talk to each other, not to us, we should be invisible.
Anyone switches on the BBC News today will realise that we are in a massive crisis. When you look at things like A&E, when you look at hospital waiting times, we get a lot of press as healthcare professionals. When we look at the bad press we get with things like the Staffordshire inquiry, as nurses, we're always told we're useless at caring and we don't care very well. How on earth do you teach somebody to be caring? You will all know somebody who deep down really cares, but my goodness, they don't look like it. Yes? So how do you teach somebody to have a new personality? Very difficult. If we then think about how we want to see people to care, if they're turning around and talking to Debbie, we're not seeing how they care. And we're saying at this point that our course is 50% spent in the university and 50% spent in clinical practice. So students do get time to talk to patients, are supported by qualified nurses within hospital bases and the community setting. But what's important is these people are so busy. So busy because, as you know, we're all under pressure. So if we're in a classroom and we can get the student to act more like they would do in clinical practice, we can comment on their behaviour when it is safe. Yeah, when there's no patients involved, when it's safe, when we can see things, and we have seen some things. We have seen all sorts of comments. We've seen, hello babe, don't worry me duck, I'll sort this for you. We've seen Mrs. So-and-so that's been called babe, who's not been called babe ever in her life before and really doesn't want to be today. That person thought they were being caring, but we were able to say, okay, how do you think about how you're communicating with this patient? I'm about to admit to you all, but yes, I watch EastEnders. 5 minutes. I watch EastEnders. Did anybody watch the New Year's Day episode of EastEnders? Blank faces in the room. Okay. If you could cope with the clinical inaccuracy being absolutely horrendous, I was mortified about the way that EastEnders was showing the world that nurses are. The way they communicated with patients was absolutely terrible. Oh, this person's dead, just leave them. Oh, they've come back to life. Sorry, family out the room. Bye, bye. Busy, must go. Your wife's about to die. Sorry, my bleep went off. This is how we're perceived. And when you think about the public perception that aren't in hospital every day, is that how we're perceived? What do we know though? And I started to reflect around this. I was listening to a TED Ed talk on vision and visualisation.
Got 1 minute left.
I was thinking, does this mean then that, or how are we exactly seen? And what the public and patients don't always realise is the pressures that we're under. So we're telling you you've got 2 hours to wait, but there's somebody dying next door, and I'm being short with you, I'm being quick because somebody's dying next door and I want to be there. But how am I then communicating this? So we want to make situations really, really real to help people see that we really do care.
Do the last slide, show what students think of it.
Oh, no, that one, sorry. So these are some of the comments that we've had, so they really do think that it is real and hopefully we can engage them. Thank you very much for listening.